I know this isn't exactly news or anything, but it still needs to be said. The only reason that most game journalists even play video games is to review new AAA games in order to appease their corporate bosses and continue to get early and exclusive access to AAA studios.
What's in it for me?
That is why, when Ubisoft put out Assassin's Creed Shadows earlier this year, game journalists rushed to get their review released, and they slobbered all over that Ubisoft buggy slop. On Metacritic, 98 professional reviewers played the game, and they gave it an 81 out of 100, even though the user score is a paltry 6.2 out of 10. And here's what happened with Dragon Age the Veilguard. 73 reviewers played that game, and they gave it an even higher score, an 82 out of 100, which was really at odds with what gamers think of the game, seeing as how the user score is a 3.9 out of 10. It seems pretty apparent that when a game journalist sees a corporate butt, they always have this same reaction. But when a new game comes out that either isn't a AAA title or it doesn't fit into their shitlib progressive worldview, they go out of their way to ignore it. Case in point, last year, when Lollipop Chainsaw Repop came out, game journalists were sent codes of that game, but a year later, and we still only have 8 reviews for it because the attractive female character in that game offended game journalists' feminist sensibilities. Schedule 1 is another example. That is an indie game, so it doesn't come from one of these big AAA companies, so they didn't care about this game. And as you can see, they don't even have 4 reviews for it with scores for that game, despite the fact that Schedule 1 was a smash hit that was hilarious fun. There aren't even 4 review scores, so they can't even give this game a score. Yet, on Steam, that game hit over 450,000 concurrent players at its peak, and VG Analytics estimates that Schedule 1 has sold over 7 million copies. When it comes to games that don't help their career or push their narrative, though, this is the game journalist reaction. Well, that same phenomenon appears to be happening with this game here, Escape from Duckov, an extraction shooter with a funny duck aesthetic that has really been picking up steam, pun intended, because over on Steam, the game has been growing in popularity to the point that they are hitting over 250,000 concurrent players at its peak, and you can tell from the way that the Steam chart number has been rising steadily that word of mouth is phenomenal for this game. It has grown rapidly in the week or so since it's been out, no thanks to the game journalists. Only 8 of them could be bothered to write about this game thus far, and they scored it well below the likes of Assassin's Creed Shadows and Dragon Age, once again going contrary to what gamers scored this game. Over on Steam, gamers have rated Escape from Duckov a 94% positive.
Hey guys, here's my review of the game. It wasn't made by Ubisoft or BioWare, so it's not very good.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
But alright, let's take a peek at what's going on with this Escape from Duckov game. So, of the 8 reviews for this game on Metacritic, 3 of them were fairly negative, and all 3 of these came out right when Duckov was released on October 16th. Let's read what they had to say. Destructoid gave it a 70 of 100, writing, "As weird as it is unique, Escape from Duckov offers a new take on the extraction shooter formula. However, the grind and tedium can quickly kill the fun, severely diminishing an otherwise cool experience." Dual Shockers gave it a 70 as well, writing, "Escape from Duckov does a lot right while keeping an adorable identity, but it demands too much time without offering enough thrills in return. The game's biggest failings come from being inspired by a title that is fundamentally a bad game that somehow works in spite of its design, not because of it." And then the outlet But Why Though gave this game a 65 of 100, and they said here, "As a purely single-player experience, it feels like a solid introduction to the extraction shooter genre, but even the cute ducks can't save Escape from Duckov from feeling like a chore. Well guys, I hate to say it, but you are clearly in the vast minority here. As I pointed out, this game has been growing on Steam over its first week, and it might even rival the numbers that we saw from Schedule 1 this past spring. Word of mouth has clearly been quite good for Escape from Duckov. Whenever a game gains players like this, from launch weekend to the next weekend, that is an extremely good sign. So, like I said, all 3 of those negative reviews from game journalists came out right when the game was released, and it didn't have much of a following. Only 2 reviews were positive right when the game came out. GameStar here gave it an 80 of 100, and Game Grin gave it an 85 of 100 right when it released. Good on both of them for recognizing a fun game without needing their colleagues to tell them it was okay to like it. And then you will note that these 2 reviews are both positive scores, but they came out in the past 2 days, meaning that they waited until the game was clearly a hit and had a following before they started talking about it. And the same goes for this review right here. These reviewers are clearly bandwagon jumpers. They undoubtedly were sent codes for the game, but they couldn't be bothered to discuss it until it was clear that gamers were flocking to it. I will keep an eye on these negative scores here though from last week. It will be interesting to see if any of them change their score in order to fit in, because here is what gamers are saying about this game. It has a 94% positive score on Steam with over 17,000 reviews. People have been talking about it enough on social media that I caught wind of this game. I hadn't heard of it until the last day or so here, but I caught wind of it and decided to watch a bunch of gameplay, and even though I'm not really a fan of the extraction genre, I'm interested in checking this out. For cripe's sake, like all of the other games that are succeeding this year, this title is far less than the $70 that we are being presented with AAA slop, being only $18. And the reviews from people who are playing Escape from Duckov make it seem pretty attractive to at least try out for that pretty low price tag. This guy here gave the game a thumbs up and wrote, "Feeding ducks with bread, red X. Feeding ducks with lead, green checkmark." This game has everything you'd want from an extraction shooter. Complex base building, cool character customization and progression system, quests, tons of different enemies, loot, great soundtrack, and fishing. And then this fella has a pretty solid review. He said, "Escape from Duckov is really silly at first glance, but this is an extremely competent PvE game that absolutely nails progression. The developer has played Tarkov and really knows what makes the amazing parts of Tarkov feel so good. You'll progress through this game, collecting loot, upgrading your hideout, and enhancing your character as you equip stronger armor and weapons. This allows you to traverse deeper into the maps for even better loot. This game nails progression more than anything. Upgrade your hideout, then upgrade those modules, upgrade every aspect of your character from your carry weight to your needs of food and water, and even gun statistics like recoil and reload speed. You'll use a huge variety of items to contribute to all of these upgrades, and it really rewards your hoarding and filling up your stash. The quests aren't particularly interesting, but that's not why we're here. Just like Tarkov, the quests are a means to experience and rewards. I love how the developer takes a tongue-in-cheek approach to quests and often recognizes notorious Tarkov quests. Clearing enemies and looting them feels fantastic. Some enemies can be quite hard, so it feels great to equip some really good gear and ammo to take them down. There are harder common enemies and even named AI that will absolutely tear you up if you're not ready. The cute aesthetic is funny at first, but you'll quickly look past it as you get sucked into looting, taking down enemies, and of course, upgrading every aspect of your hideout. Don't be fooled and think this is a meme game. Other than Tarkov itself, I don't think another game nails extraction progression better. This game scratches such a great itch for me, and I can't praise this game enough. Like I said, these reviews make it hard not to justify $18 to play this game. There is a reason that they have gotten up to 250,000 players playing this game concurrently on Steam. Meanwhile, take a look at the games that were being shilled by these game journalists. Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't even hit 65,000 concurrent players. Dragon Age the Veilguard didn't do much better, failing to hit 90,000. Granted, Escape from Duckov is much cheaper than those other two, but that is kind of the point. Why pay $70 for progressive, propagandistic AAA slop when you can spend less than $20 for what is clearly a good time? And besides all that, even without the help of shill reviewers and game journalists in general talking about this game, Escape from Duckov is kicking the ass of those other games. They caught my attention, and hopefully, if you like this style of game, it will catch yours as well. But I'm gonna leave it there. What do you make of Escape from Duckov? Does it look like your cup of tea? Drop your thoughts along with your contempt for the journalists who can't be bothered to talk about games like this into the comment section below.